And for your members, it's going to be all about their committee, because that's homeroom. That's where the commitments will be made. That's where the action will take place. And so you are trainers. You are mentors. You are volunteer coordinators. You also understand that you want to be trained and need to be trained. Just because you have this placement, again, doesn't mean you have to know everything. And so what are some of the things you want to learn this year about yourself, about Austin, about the league, about nonprofits? What do you want to learn? And there are many ways to do that within the league and outside of the league. Volunteers, highest calling. Don't take it for granted. Don't take one for granted. We were at one of the meetings and we were talking about placements, and Morgan and someone will tell you I like to mess with folks' heads, and this woman was saying something like, well, they have to have a placement. And I said, no, they don't. She says, what do you mean they don't have to have? I said, because they don't have to be in the junior league. She just fainted dead away. I was like, oh my God. She said like she was going to swoon, you know. She can't imagine. And I said, this is voluntary. This doesn't mean that there's no accountability, but it means that we have to respect that people have come here to give their own time, their talent, and their treasure. We talk about charitable, very charitable externally. Your role is to be charitable internally. It's to make sure that everyone inside feels that charity and that love. And the only way they can feel it in an organization this size is in the committee. That's where again, we're on. So we have to be charitable to each other, which leads us into this conversation about servant leadership. You can be a hierarchical, dictatorial leader, or you can be a servant leader. What this mission is calling for is servant leaders. People who want to help women grow and develop. People who want to put other folks' needs before their own. People who don't have to have it their way. Those of you who have to have it your way, you can go now too, because this isn't going to work for you. It doesn't make you a bad person, but as a leader, it's just not going to work for you. Servant leaders meet people where they are, helping those members on your team fulfill their needs by being true to the mission of the league. You might say, oh, she's up there talking, we got too much work to do. The women are your work. Your success is in the development of the women and the type of experiences your members have. That's your success factor. A project that raises millions of dollars and burns out 50 women is not successful. An effort that feeds thousands of children and ticks off lots of women, and they don't understand any more about hunger or children or food issues or poverty, has not been a success. So you lead by serving others. You focus on meeting the needs of those who are there. We're talking about transformation here. We're trying to transform communities. The best way to transform communities is to transform women. And to allow the women on your team this year to have a transformational experience. Now, every minute is not going to be a big joy, but overall, we want to have a transformational experience. Help people to understand the mission. Ask them, what does this mission mean to them? That's a great question to ask at your first meeting. What does this? We live in a broken world. We live in a broken society. Some people didn't have a good year last year. Some of you didn't have a good year last year, whether in the league or in life or whatever it was. And so the idea that the atmosphere that you create within your committee is one that brings folks together for healing and doesn't fracture them and separate them. And when someone comes to you, and they will, and says, I want to talk to you about Vicki, she's not doing her part. I think we need to hold her feet to the fire. Well, when you hold people's feet to the fire, all you get is burned feet. And so just having a bunch of people walking around with burned feet is not a good thing. And if you're going to hold their feet to the fire, your hands get burned too. And so the idea of saying everyone will get what they need to get out of this experience. I'm happy for your concern about your fellow league sister, but I'm not going to discuss her league participation with you just as I won't discuss yours with her. That's a healing answer. That's a healing answer. The next one is awareness. First of all, be self-aware. Look at your own leadership inventory. You know what you need to work on. You know some of you don't have enough patience. You know that some of you like it your way or the highway. You know some of you don't like to listen. Some of you have it all worked out now. If you just didn't have to work with that committee, you just get it all done. But the whole idea is self-awareness first. What are you going to work on this year? And then being aware of where the people are on your team. Who are they? They're not just chess people for you to move around to get things done that's in the blue book, on the blue pages. That's not what it is. They are members. Members meaning they are a part of, they are the league. This building is not the league. The parking is definitely not the league. But this building is not the league. The women on your team are the Junior League of Austin, each one of them.